All right, welcome everybody. We're back here on this beautiful Monday for the Victory in Biz Accountability and Success Ignition Call. So good to see you all here. Still have people logging on. Hello, Chris, welcome.
Howdy.
And as always, today we will go ahead and talk about what is our number one goal for the week. So we're going to go around the room and everyone will get a chance to share what their number one goal of this week is. I hope everyone had a wonderful Independence Day weekend. And then after that, I'm going to just talk a little bit about how come we sometimes attract the wrong type of clients or wrong type of audience, and what are the things we can do to improve that. So those are a few of the things I'm going to be highlighting today. There's probably a few more people coming on. There we go. Is that Blaine? Blaine, who's just joined us? I can't see a name.
It's me. Hi.
It is Blaine. So good to see you.
Good to see you
Welcome.
too. Thanks.
You've been running a lot of marathons. You've been busy.
I have been. It's
I
nice to
love
be
it.
sitting down.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I believe you. Okay, so let's get this started. I have right on top of my screen in the left corner, Jim, you're my number one here today. Why don't you share with us your number one goal this week?
All right, well, my number one goal this week is to have somebody signed up for university and get some sign-ups for the upcoming conference, preferably 5.
Preferably five this week. Okay, that sounds like a
awesome.
great goal.
Anyway, and I have a memorial service at the American Legion that I have to leave for pretty quick here. So I'm
Okay.
going to dive off and say, I'll see you guys next week. So
Not a problem. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for showing up.
okay, bye-bye.
We will see you next week. Bye-bye. All right, Mac, good to see you.
Always good to be seen.
Yes. What's your number one goal this week? What you got going on?
Well, we're still doing the Veterans Mastermind on Wednesday. I am doing a international podcast on Wednesday, and just running crazy.
Yeah, fantastic. I sent you an email, and by the way, instead of sending it to you and Sonia, I sent it to you and Helen. But we'll get that graphic done for you. I just need a few details. So have a look if you can find that and let me know. And then yes, awesome. Those of you who are interested in making your services available or serving those who wear the jacket, as Max says, reach out to him and keep your eyes peeled for that weekly call that he's going to be having for you guys. Thank you, Mac. Tracy, what you got going on?
So we have the summit, the Thriving Coach Breakthrough Summit. And so I need to get my 3 presentations done that will open up the mornings of those and make sure all the speakers are promoting.
Yes, there's that. I know. I've got to do my job there. Absolutely. Thank you, Tracy. Basta, I see you've been preparing for another class. What is your number one goal this week?
Good morning, everybody. My number one goal this week is to be well prepared for my class this Thursday, have everything ready. Your question says, what can we do to get the right client? Just like preparation is everything, and that's what I'm trying to work on. In the past, I have not been well prepared, and I got the wrong, people in my classes. So that's my number one goal.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit today and how you can improve that also. Rich, so great to have you here today. Would you like to share with us what is your number one goal this week?
Well, as you know, I'm a presentation coach. Did you call on me, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. As you know, I'm a presentation coach, and I am looking specifically to find 2 people I get to help this week to help them discover, develop, and deliver their best message to their best audience to create their best payday. So 2 clients, 2 people I can help is my goal this week.
I love it. Love the clarity in that. Thank you, Rich. Fantastic. So if any of you are interested, you know who to reach out to, Mr. Rich Hopkins. Greg, good to see you as always. Welcome.
Thanks. I am actually catching up this week. I spent all last week with family. We went up into the mountains and it was awesome. So I've got a whole bunch of different things that I need to be doing this week. I'm finishing up a new book. I am onboarding a new client. And I'm working on a couple of different presentations that I'm going to be giving in the next few months. So it's wrap up week for me.
Wrap up week. I love that. Yes, sounds like you also, well, as we always all have a lot going on. It's always great. I love catching up and hearing what everyone's doing. And so, you know, if any of us can get involved, we know what's happening there. Thank you, Greg. Michelle Renee, welcome.
Hello, hello. Good to see everybody. I want to start by thanking Mac for taking time explaining his services for the veterans last week. Thank you so much, Mac, for that. We had a weird thing where my email kept kicking his email back as undeliverable. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Anyway, so part of my goal is to look over what you've already sent me, Mac, and respond and with some questions I have. And then I have another goal is I leave Thursday for 10 days off the grid in Yellowstone. So I'm tying up loose ends this week and getting excited. I'm booking in people for when I come back, which I love. And I'll put my information in the side. Anybody who gets in front of clients who regularly need a website, please think of me because I will save your clients a lot of money and that's more money in your pocket. So I'll put that info in the chat.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for
Thank
sharing.
you.
All right, Chris, Mr. Lipper, what is your number one goal this week?
So I'm going to try real hard to work on the business and not in the business. And there's some things that I need to address. Speaking of websites, we're converting our website. We're moving it from one person to another, and that's a chance to make some changes and do some of the outward stuff that has been neglected. So update the LinkedIn page, all that stuff I just don't enjoy doing. It's going to get done this month and it starts this week.
Okay, well, good for you. Yes, I know. It's all the busy work. Also has to get done, right? And then we can really focus on those money generating tasks that we need to do in our business. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Luciana, I want to welcome you here today. So nice to see you. I know a lot of the people on this call don't really know you yet. So please take a moment and give us a quick introduction on you, and then also what is your number one goal of this week?
Sure. So actually just with Chris, with Method Connect and Collaborate a little bit earlier today, but I'm new to Achieve. So I'm Luciana Stan. My practice holistic healing. I help people transform physically, emotionally, mentally, with the niche to actually help women that undergone like a toxic relationship to rediscover themselves. I work one-on-one, but also I developed this program that it's targeted to make a difference in those women's life. And the project or the goal for this week is actually that I'm working also on the book that has the same theme, that it's actually a workbook. And the target is to actually finish it, so that I already collaborate with the publisher and to send everything to them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yes. That's a large task, but fantastic.
Yes.
Congratulations on your book. And thank you for being here this morning. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Blaine, good to see you again, my love.
Hi, thank you. Good to be here. We Energy Medicine Yoga are going to do a launch for kids. And so we have a kids energy medicine yoga practice and lecture that are both under 20 minutes long, that are very much like, it's summer, you've done swim camp, you've tried this, you've tried that, like the kids are still home. And some practices, it's all around emotional regulation and energy medicine. So I have to write the sales page and the email copy and all of that.
Yay!
It's going to be a quick launch. You know, we're just going to send out like 3 or 4 emails, and it's a lower ticket offer, but then sell it permanently on the website. So
Love it. Love it. I
Yeah.
love that you're doing that for kids. Just so awesome. Yoga. Introduce them early. Introduce them early. I don't know. This is maybe totally off topic for the call, but a quick story around yoga, Blaine. You know, I was a dancer my whole life, so I was always like, yoga, boring. I don't want to do yoga. Who wants to do? So I finally, when I started working on cruise ships, so I was already in my mid-20s. I decided, oh, I had a dancer friend who said she's going to teach the class that day. So I went, I'm like, let me try this. And I loved it. I mean, I got so hooked in it, but for a moment there, I sat and I was like, oh, so that's what we've been doing. I've been doing yoga all my life because that's how we warmed up for dance class, right? I just didn't know it was yoga. But yeah, yoga is so amazing. So amazing. Thank you for sharing. Jill, last but not least, tell us, what is your number one goal for this week?
Well, I am headed to Vegas today for 5 engagements. Count them 5. I'm like, oh my God. And so my goal is to create clients and generate revenue through these magnificent engagements I'm doing. And I actually got a show in there too, because I got to go see a show. It's
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Yay. So a little bit of work, a little bit of pleasure, and a good, yeah, well, congratulations and good luck on that. And talking about attracting the right type of clients, your bio is also a big part of that. And I want to thank Jill because she sat with me this morning and went over my bio to help me refine it and upgrade it and update it. So if any of you need help with that, she's brilliant at that too. So another thing that Jill does, that's wonderful. So thank you, Jill, for that this morning. Fantastic. I believe everybody had a chance to share their number one goal this week. So I'll just move right on to the nitty gritty. And so what I wanted to talk about a little bit today is, something I hear from achievers all the time, especially when we work on them crafting their messages for A5. Those of you who've been through university already know what the A5 is. But I often hear, well, there must be something wrong with my messaging because I seem to be attracting the wrong kind of client, or not the right level of client, or people who aren't willing to invest. So today I want to share 3 reasons why your marketing might be attracting the wrong kind of people. And it's not always just the messaging, but the messaging is a huge part of it, right? And how we structure that and what we choose to share can have a big impact on what kinds of people we are attracting to our business, right? So how do we stop attracting those people that we don't really feel are our ideal audience? Well, number one is if you're creating content for dabblers. Okay, so what I mean by that is, so a lot of us have been taught to share a lot of high informational content, also been taught to share content with lots of entertainment value. Now, of course, we want to dab that in there. We want to make sure that's part of the messaging. The last 3 weeks, I talked about those emails that we can automate in our business. Now, here's some ideas for you when you create those, when you write those, things to look out for. So remember, when you're creating mostly informational content, then you actually send people down the path of doing, right? So doing the things, the information that you're sharing with them puts them in do mode. They're not necessarily focusing on finding someone to help them do those things. They're looking at searching for ways how to do it. So they're actually focusing on getting all that work done that you are teaching. And then and that means that someone in research mode isn't necessarily in buying mode, right? So that could be one of the things. If you're only sharing mostly information, that could be distracting them from looking for that solution that facilitates, that helps them with that solution to reach that solution. And then for obvious reasons, if you have too much just entertaining content, the entertaining content then attracts the consumers, not the buyers. Why? Because they're there for the party, not the purchase. So it is important to mix in the informational content and mix in the entertainment, but you don't want your content to just be information and entertainment, right? There's got to be many dimensions, and we'll go into a little bit of that more in just a bit. So that could be one of the things. The other thing is something that all of you here know and are already familiar with because we talk about it a lot. Hi, Jeff. Welcome. Glad you're here. We'll give you a chance in a bit to share
you.
your number one goal of the week. We've already gone through that. So you can think about that and share that with us. Right now, I'm sharing some information on why we might be attracting the wrong kind of people to our businesses, the wrong kind of clients. So I just talked about that content that might be too informational or just too entertaining. But also, if you're vague about your solution, if you're not 100% clear on what you sell, not just the solution, right? There's this weird thing out there about the gurus teaching us how to get people curious without sharing too much info. The problem with that is curious people don't necessarily buy. So if you want to attract more buyers, you want to be explicit about your offer, the price. You want to be sure they know exactly what they're buying and what they're investing, right? Because people who are ready to buy, those are the details that they need. So explain your exact solution you offer, and then also exactly who are you offering it to. And the next section, the next thing is about anchoring your content. And there I'll show you some ideas on how you can also subconsciously feed people that information. So share your results in alignment with your exact offer, right? So present the problem you solve and then give specifics around how you solve it. And then also be upfront about what the investment is. Something that really frustrates me is when I'm interested in something and I can't figure out what it's going to cost me. How much am I investing, right? You want to make that easy for people to find. And then the third thing I'm going to share is that you need to anchor your content. People need to hear things over and over and over again. We already know that. This is a fact in selling and marketing, is that we just need to be willing to repeat. But one of the ways to kind of do it not so upfront, but more subconsciously, is to anchor your content. And what I mean by that is, here are some examples that I put together for you of phrases that anchor this information, that anchor who is it you're looking for and what are you solving. So one of the examples is, for instance, in our agency, we work with lots of seven-figure entrepreneurs. Here's one of the biggest issues we see when it comes to their copy. So there you've anchored, we're an agency, we work with seven-figure entrepreneurs, and we help them with their copy, right? Another example would be, I was doing a VIP day with a med spa owner on her team of 5. So what did you anchor there? You anchored that you do VIP days, you like working with people in the spa industry, and you work with teams, not only one-on-ones, right? So those are ways that you can anchor this information without making it blunt. In our mastermind for seven-figure owners, for instance. So now you're already saying, I have a mastermind and it's for seven-figure owners. Or our agency clients pay $3,000 per month for this, but I'm sharing this with you for free or complimentary, right? Another example, over the last 5 years, I've worked with 25 clients who had 100 pounds or more to lose. Here's one thing they all struggle with. So I've anchored over the past 5 years. So I've been at this for 5 years. I've worked with so many clients who had so much weight to lose. you've anchored exactly who your client is, right? Let's do one more. One more would be, I just got off a call with a patient that has gone to 6 different practitioners with her symptoms. All of them dismissed her. Here's the exact set of tests we ran to diagnose her Hashimoto's or whatever it can be, and get her on the path to healing. Right. So these things I mentioned, these are all examples of anchoring your content, giving the context to who you work with very being very specific, but doing it indirectly. Okay. So those are the 3 things I want to share with you today. So number 1, you want to mix in content and entertainment value, but you don't want all your information to be content and information, because that also attracts certain types of people, right? The dabblers, as I said. And then don't be vague about your solution. Be very, very clear about what you sell, who you sell it to, and what the investment will be. And then also anchor your content in your text. Let people know who it is you work with, how much do you charge, right? Those types of things, but do it indirectly. And then just a few bonus tips, a few little things, other things you can also think of. When you create your calendar booking link, put some qualifying questions in there. Ask people questions that inquire, what's the budget you're looking at and what's the timeline? When do they want to get started, right? You've seen those questions. So what is it that applies to you, and what is it that you want to know about that prospect? And make sure that when they book with you, you've already vetted them, so you're not wasting your time on a call with someone who is not your right client, right? And then another thing you can do is pin a post at the top. If you use Instagram, you can actually pin a post at the top of your feed that explains your offer and who you work with. On LinkedIn, you want to make sure that your title and description is very clear. Who is it you work with? Who is it you're looking for? And what's the problem you're solving, right? And then also make sure your bio is fully optimized for the right person. Like I said, I just worked with Jill this morning to improve mine. You want to make sure when people read your bio, in that bio, you're already also prompting people. Who are you helping? What are you helping them with? And why, right? And then that will help you attract those people. Be sure who the right person is, because if you're not clear on that, then none of this matters. So be really clear on I love how Rich explained what he's looking for this week. He was very clear what he's doing, what's the solution, and who he's wanting to help. So always be very clear on those things. Any questions or comments or any additions that anyone wants to make to that I just shared here to help you figure out the right client? Anyone? No, it looks like that was quite thorough. So with that said, Jeff, welcome here this morning. We always, as we open this call, share our number 1 goal for the week, but we also want to learn a little bit about you. So please share with us a little bit about you, and then also what's your number 1 goal of the week.
Sure. So I operate a IT strategy consulting company in the Greater Toronto area. And my number 1 goal this week is to create about 5 or 6 pieces of video content to engage my audience.
Fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. And by the way, all this information for all of you that I shared this morning also would apply to video content, right? You want to keep all these things in mind when you write your copy or you do your videos. So thank you so much to everyone for showing up this morning here after the long weekend. Let's go out and kill it. Have a super successful week. And I hope to see all of you again next Monday, same time, same place. Toodaloo,
Thank you.
as my mom would
you.
say. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.